You've probably heard of Hua Hin as one of Thailand's easiest retirement spots. But what if just a few hours down the coast, there's somewhere quieter, cheaper, and almost no one is really talking about? A place that doesn't look like a retirement hub at all, but might actually suit a completely different kind of life. This is Prachuap Khiri Khan, and depending on who you are, it could make more sense than Hua Hin. When people start thinking about retirement in Thailand, Hua Hin usually shows up early, and it makes sense. It's structured, familiar, easy to understand. You've got condos, expat areas, restaurants, shopping centres, everything that gives a sense of comfort and control. For years, it was almost the default answer, but over time, subtle changes start to creep in. Prices rise gradually, traffic builds up, certain areas lose that quiet, simple rhythm people originally came for. And that's when something interesting happens. People stop looking north, they start sliding just slightly down the coast, far enough to escape the structure, but not so far that life becomes complicated. That's where Prachuap Khiri Khan enters the picture. But this is important. This isn't a cheaper version of Hua Hin. It doesn't compete with Hua Hin. It replaces a completely different idea of lifestyle. So instead of asking which is better, we're really asking what kind of life are you actually choosing when everything slows down? Let's start with the town itself, because this is where expectations and reality split very quickly. Prachuap Khiri Khan is not a resort town. It's not built for tourism. It's a working provincial Thai town that happens to sit on the coast. And that one detail changes everything. The first thing you notice is the pace. Not slow in an artificial retirement brochure way, but naturally slow. People are working, trading, moving through routines, but there's no urgency behind it. Morning markets open early, food stalls set up along familiar roads, motorbikes pass through quiet streets, and everything just flows. What you don't feel here is performance. Nothing is trying to impress you, nothing is built around visitors, and that alone changes how you experience the place. Now compare that mentally to Hua Hin. Hua Hin has structure, expat zones, resorts, shopping centres, defined areas. Here it's much more local. Small cafes instead of chains, family-run shops instead of international brands, everyday Thai life instead of a system designed around foreign comfort. And people usually react in two ways. Some feel relief, like something has finally been stripped back to something real. Others feel uncertainty. Is this enough? And both reactions are completely valid, because this town doesn't add comfort layers, it removes them. Now the seafront is where Prachuap really reveals itself. The road curves along the coastline, mountains on one side, open sea on the other, and immediately the atmosphere shifts. It's quiet but alive, not empty, just unforced. People walk slowly along the water, sit on benches, ride bicycles, grab a coffee, but everything happens without pressure. And this is where it starts to matter more than the scenery. Because retirement isn't just about location. It's about how your body reacts to daily life. Imagine a normal morning here. You wake up, walk along the seafront, stop for a coffee, sit by the water, and nothing is demanding anything from you. No noise, no urgency, no friction, just space. And when you compare that to Hua Hin, the contrast becomes obvious. Hua Hin gives structure, convenience, activity. Prachuap removes all of that. And the real question becomes, do you want structure or do you want simplicity? One thing I should add here, I've actually been to this area quite a few times over the years. Different trips, different seasons, different levels of activity. And the same impression comes up every time. It's quiet, properly quiet compared to Hua Hin. At first, that's the selling point. You notice the space immediately. Everything feels easy. No pressure, no noise, no rush. But after a while, something else becomes noticeable. The quiet doesn't really change. It stays constant. There's no real background energy to the place. No sense that something is building or shifting. Just a steady, slow rhythm day after day. And personally, that's where I think people need to be honest with themselves. For short stays, it feels incredible. It resets you, it clears your head. But for longer periods, you start asking a different question. Is this level of quiet actually what I want every day? Because for some people it's perfect. For others, it becomes a bit too still. Too much space, not enough movement. And that difference matters more than any cost comparison. From here, you move out to Manao Beach. And this is where everything becomes visual. This is not a commercial beach. It's clean, controlled, and extremely calm. No high-rise hotels, no beachfront chaos, no constant noise. Just long stretches of sand and open water. And often very few people. You can walk for long distances in the morning and barely see anyone. And again, this is where comparison naturally comes in. Hua Hin gives you energy, restaurants, activity, structure. Prachuap gives you space, and space sounds like a benefit until you actually live inside it. Because lifestyle isn't theoretical, it's daily repetition. To really understand Prachuap, you need to see it from above. Your perspective will change when you climb to the top of this mountain. You'll see a narrow strip of land, mountains on one side, sea on the other, and the town squeezed in between. That geography explains everything. There is no natural room for expansion, no pressure to overdevelop, no path towards becoming a large resort hub. And that's why it still feels the way it does. Contained, local, stable in its own quiet way. Daily life here is simple. Morning markets, local food, small shops, cafes that exist for locals, not tourists. Everything is available, but nothing is excessive. And that creates a very specific rhythm. You don't structure your day around logistics, you just live locally. Costs also tend to feel more grounded than Hua Hin. Not dramatically different in every category, but often noticeably lighter in day-to-day spending. Food, rent, services all follow a more local structure. But there's a trade-off. You lose density, less variety, fewer international options, fewer backup choices. life becomes simpler but narrower. This works best for people who want quiet daily living, low pressure, local lifestyle, slow routines, fewer distractions. But it's definitely not for everyone. If you want malls nearby, nightlife, large expat communities, or constant variety, you'll eventually feel limited here. And that's the misunderstanding. This isn't a cheaper Hua Hin. It's a different system entirely. So is Prachuap Khiri Khan a half-price alternative to Hua Hin? Not really. That framing misses the point. Because this place isn't about price, it's about structure. Hua Hin gives you comfort through convenience. Prachuap gives you comfort through simplicity. And neither is better. The real question is simple. Which version of life actually feels right when everything slows down? I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please do me a massive favour and press the subscribe button. It really helps the channel push to other people like yourselves who want to retire in Thailand. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next one, guys.